Thanks for joining us this Tuesday evening, everyone. I'm Ben Wyman. We open our show with breaking news. The U.S. Department of Education website says sweeping layoffs within their department will begin tonight. About 50% of the workforce is expected to be cut. The Department of Education offices are going to be closed for about a day and a half this week. Employees are being told it's for, quote, security reasons. A memo to workers told them to vacate their offices tonight and to work from home tomorrow. They're going to return to the office on Thursday. Employees impacted by that reduction in workforce will be placed on administrative leave beginning next Friday, March 21st. All impacted employees will receive full pay and benefits until June 9th, as well as severance pay or retirement benefits based upon their length of service. A very busy night across the United States happening beyond the big sky. An app once used by migrants seeking asylum here in the United States is now going to switch. It's going to focus on self-deportation. The Department of Homeland Security says the change to CBP-1 is part of its new Stay Out and Leave Now ad campaign. The app, which was unveiled by the Biden administration back in 2020, was shut down moments after President Donald Trump was sworn into office earlier this year. It's now going to be called CBP Home, and the app will automatically update for all users. DHS officials say the new version of that app will help trim enforcement costs and give ICE agents more time for the deportation process. And all this comes at a time when we're seeing some of the deportations being carried out here in Montana. Last week in Big Fork, U.S. Border Patrol agents acted on a tip as they conducted a worksite operation. During that operation, 17 illegal immigrants were found and taken into custody. Here you can see video of those 17 immigrants that were found in Big Fork. The NBIA mentioning comprehensive immigration reform, whether it be temporary or permanent visas for migrant workers, to be able to work within the state of Montana. But ultimately, in order for home prices to decrease here in Montana, we need builders.
We've got to figure out how to fill the jobs that are needed. You know, we're behind 200 to 400,000 construction jobs in the United States. We've got to have the people to be able to build the homes. We're woefully behind. I believe I heard a statistic that we need 70,000 units of housing statewide in Montana.
And we're going to continue tracking these issues and how they can impact us at home right here on Nonstop Local. And we're joined now by our Elena Margot in the newsroom tonight. With tariffs, of course, back in the spotlight, Montana businesses are bracing for impact. Elena, good evening to you. What do you know at this hour?
Yeah, good evening to you, Ben. I'm here in the newsroom as we are continuing to track those tariffs minute by minute. Now, of course, this morning, just hours ago, President Donald Trump announcing that additional 25% tariff on those metal goods from Canada. That includes aluminum and steel. And that was after Canada threatened higher tariffs on electricity. Now, around 5 p.m., just around an hour ago, this all came to a screeching halt with the president rescinding that additional 25% tariff after Canada agreed to backtrack on their own additional tariff. However, the original 25% tariff on Canadian goods will be set to go into effect tomorrow, that original 25% tariff, and those impacts will be felt here in Montana. Nonstop Local spoke with Executive Director of the Northwest Cider Association about the aluminum cans and the industries surrounding them here at home.
There are really only 3 main can suppliers in the whole country. And last time in 2018, large can users, like soda companies, ended up buying up all of the can supply in advance of the tariffs being implemented so that they could maintain their prices. And what we saw was there was a production interruption in our craft cideries when they couldn't seek the actual cans. If there is a shortage of cans, if there's more competition there, we could see some price increases short term for consumers.
And we reached out to Governor Greg Gianforte's office to get the governor's thought on these tariffs, and they pointed us to his comments made at last week's press conference.
The president's been clear. He's using tariffs as a negotiating technique. First, to get compliance on the flow of fentanyl into our communities, and secondly, to get fair and reciprocal trade in place. For the first time in a long time, we have a president that is negotiating on behalf of the American people.
And we're going to continue to track this literally minute by minute right here on Nonstop Local with any future decisions the White House makes about those tariffs. With Nonstop Local in the newsroom, good evening, Ben.
Things are changing, Elena, literally minute by minute. Appreciate the reporting tonight. And today, the Gallatin County Commission passing a resolution supporting U.S. Forest Service workers fired last month after federal job cuts, of course, impacting probationary staff at the Custer-Gallatin National Forest. The Custer-Gallatin Commission passing a resolution supporting U.S. Forest Service workers, and they're urging Montana's D.C. delegation to restore those jobs. Former employee Ariana Knight talking to us tonight about still waiting on reinstatement.
A lot of people lost their careers. Entire programs were completely dismantled. And with everything that's been going on, I've been going for a ride with it. Right now, things are just very unknown and take quite an emotional toll on myself.
Now, Commissioner Boyer says they're also concerned about the impacts of those job cuts on projects at the county level. As of right now, there was actually a fuel and fire mitigation project that was in the early stages that has been suspended as of now. Okay, switching gears now, bringing in meteorologist Mark Haka. First check on that forecast. Mark, after a really great weekend across Montana, you've kind of mentioned it a few times this week. We're kind of in a weather pattern.
That's right. I either want a good storm, a humdinger of a storm, or have it sunny, and we're, kind of stuck in the middle. This is the part of Montana, though, that has the best chances of seeing some widespread rain. This is Flathead Lake and the Mission Range, and the Kalispell-Polson areas will have a good chance of rain and mountain snow in the days to come. 43 there, 45 Missoula, 49 in Great Falls, 54 Helena, 51 Bozeman, 49 in Glasgow. Here's why Northwest Montana will be looking at a good chance of rain and mountain snow. We have a nice moisture supply coming in from the Pacific Northwest and the Pacific, and it is taking aim on Northwest Montana. Not a lot out there now. That will likely change. There are a couple of showers trying to develop around the Kalispell area and mainly to the west of Hamilton in the Bitterroot Mountains. Earlier, some showers east of Lewistown. Those are pretty much dissipated. Again, most of it will be focused in the northwest. Missoula, 45 at 7, down a few degrees to 41 at 9. Elsewhere, Great Falls, 48 at 7, down to about 43 at 9. Bozeman, you're going to be dry. Temperatures also dropping through the 40s. Helena, slight chance of a shower early, 48 at 7, 43 at 9 o'clock. And, I wanted to show you wind gusts right now, too, gusting up to about 36 miles per hour in the Cut Bank area. Wind is in the forecast for some of you, rain for others. I'll have more.
Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you very much. Now let's get off of our national stories. Talk about a story that's impacting a lot in Missoula County. Questions continuing to roll in tonight about the eventual closure of the Johnson Street Emergency Shelter and how it's going to affect shelter residents and other city services. Taylor Richardson joining us live in the studio tonight. And Taylor, giving us a bigger picture of how that J Street shelter is going to impact the shutdown, especially at the Poverello Center. Question for you tonight is, what are the next steps for the city in that closure process?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Missoula will be progressively reducing the capacity of the Johnson Street shelter starting in April until it gets completely closed down in August, and saving the city nearly $2 million in its general fund. Now, with the Johnson Street shelter closing, city officials will be turning to helping the shelter residents in a housing sprint over the next several months so they can get into secure housing or other alternatives. Mayor Davis projects that it will cost on average $2,000 per person for them to obtain secure housing.
Our team will be doing the work of securing the rental units, document readiness, completing applications for things like vouchers, lease-up paperwork, creating personal budget tools.
To be able to provide those resources, the city is hoping to raise $400,000 along with collaborating with community partners like United Way to run the services. The closure of the Johnson Street shelter was not a surprise to the Poverello Center, as they were a part of the city's official discussions. Executive Director of the Poverello Center, Jill Bonney, said it at a press conference last Friday that she expects more people to use the Poverello Center moving forward, and they will contribute to helping the city with the housing sprint.
I think there'll be an increase in people coming, but we won't increase that 150 cap. It's really where we could be in being safe.
Mayor Davis announced in yesterday's city council meeting that the city will give an update on how Missoula's homeless response team will be impacted and staffed moving forward on March 26th. From Nonstop Local News, I'm Taylor Richardson.
Appreciate it, Taylor. Thank you very much. Okay, Big Sky basketball continuing in Boise. All 4 Montana-based teams making a run to the semifinals, and as of right now, all 4 teams are still alive and have a chance to make March Madness. Let's bring in Sean Rainey and Austin Parr joining us live from Boise, Idaho, and Starch Madness. And fellas, I know the men are playing tonight, but a really fun afternoon for the Cats and the Lady Grizz. A Brawl of the Wild matchup, winner going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Ben, anything can happen. It's kind of the cliche, but I mean, that's been the case down here in Boise. I think I'm 0 for in predicting some of these games. Lady Grizz just upset number 2 Northern Arizona. Cat Grizz, Brawl the Wild on the women's side. This has been crazy, Austin.
Starch madness, pandemonium. What else do you want if you're down here in Boise? But obviously, Lady Grizz, the most impressive. I don't think anybody in this building picked them. I'll say it. I didn't pick them. You probably didn't pick them to win that game either. But hey, and what can you say about Matt Koenig?
Yeah.
Impressive.
29 points, and sometimes it takes those crazy performances from one individual. And so they are going to be taking on Montana State. But just like against Idaho, the Lady Grizz got swept in the regular season. NAU, they got swept in the regular season. Montana State, they got swept in the regular season, now playing them in the championship game. But head coach Nate Harris said it's going to be a very hard task. Hey, we'll dive more into it later on in sports. For Austin, I'm Sean Rainey. Hey, we'll be back later on in sports, but we'll have more news when we come back.
Welcome back, everyone. Once again, Northwest Montana will be the focal point of rain and mountain snow, although we have some in the Mission Range right now. Excuse me, the Bitterroot chain to the west of Hamilton, and some showers are beginning to develop Kalispell to Libby. That is the area that has the best chances of seeing some rain and mountain snow. We will add a few inches to the mountains. Skiers might like that. Again, mainly focused northwest Montana. Wednesday night and early Thursday, gusty winds again developing in southwest and central Montana. And yes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the opposite of last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to have colder weather and the possibility of snow. But again, precipitation will be pretty much confined to northwest Montana for the next couple of days. Eventually, though, we'll see some of that moving eastward, maybe a shower or thunder shower between Great Falls and Helena at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And it looks like some pretty good snow around Big Sky and West Yellowstone. That would be 3 a.m. Wednesday night. More rain and snow, Bozeman to Helena, all the way westward to the Highway 93 corridor. Then finally, we get some energy swinging into Lewistown and parts of central and eastern Montana. Widespread rain. Look at this. Here in far eastern Montana, just outside of our viewing area. How much rain? Well, what I just showed you, you can probably guess. Best chances of beneficial rain the next few days, focused in the northwest, Kalispell, around 1/4 of an inch, 600ths in Missoula, but very, well, I guess 800ths in Lewistown. 1100ths in the Bozeman area. So our models are beginning to show a little heavier precipitation later this week in central and eastern parts of the state. This is the bad news. Some gusty winds developing in the 30s miles per hour. Butte, Bozeman, Livingston, West Yellowstone. That'll be 1 a.m. on Wednesday night and Thursday morning. And then some gusty winds also developing from Cutbank into the Glasgow area Thursday night into Friday. How much snow are we anticipating? Well, obviously, most of it's going to be in the mountains. Otherwise, our models are actually showing later in the week possibly some low elevation accumulation. Salmon, Idaho. It has now lessened the likelihood of an inch or so in Bozeman and Missoula. So there you have it. As far as tonight, rain and mountain snow developing northwest, 35 in the Kalispell area, 34 in Missoula. Elsewhere, we are looking at 31 in Bozeman, 38 Great Falls, 30 in Glasgow, and tomorrow, chance of showers west. 52 Missoula, 61 in the Great Falls area. That trough of low pressure in the west will cool us in the coming days. It's not going to be a cold wave, no Arctic air, but temperatures falling below average by Friday and Saturday. Rain changing to snow Friday and Saturday, and actually a daily chance of rain and snow in Missoula and Kalispell. Helena, Great Falls, you will be in the 40s Friday, and then the 30s and 40s Tuesday. So next week, temperatures will be falling below normal. We ought to be in the 40s to low to near 50 this time of the year. Butte, Bozeman, you're going to be in the 30s. Chance of snow over the weekend and early next week. Lewistown, Glasgow, mild Thursday, much colder, 30s Saturday, and then we're going to be above average. I'm looking forward to that, the 19th to the 25th, and above average precipitation. Have a good night.
This is Nonstop Local.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, St. Patrick's Day, less than a week away, and that means the party about to begin in earnest in Butte, America. One of the city's longest-lasting icons is also set to join in the fun. TJ Bauer joining us live outside the world-famous M&M for more on the building's contributions. Hi, DJ.
Well, as Butte, America gets ready to celebrate yet another spectacular St. Patrick's Day, one of the uptown icons that was gone for each of the past 4 years is set to return in just the nick of time and make the holiday all the merrier. The famous M&M Bar and Cafe has been a Main Street mainstay since 1890, and its signature neon green and red sign is one of the defining images of Butte. But ever since the original M&M building burned down in May 2021, that sign has been missing from the city skyline until this week. With concrete work finished, a 50-foot tall H-beam in place, and neon lighting all accounted for, the M&M's emblem is set to shine once again. As the sign readies to return to its post later this week, for the first time in nearly 4 years, owner Selena Pankovic reflects on why the M&M's monogram has become so iconic.
Well, I just think overall the size of that sign, it's, 20 feet tall, 10 feet wide, 3,000 pounds. You know, it's a big deal all on its own, but up in the air, lit in neon, it's really magnetic. I think, you know, it draws people from all directions, especially on big events. Everybody, you know, likes to get their picture taken under.
And the timing couldn't be better. Over 135 years of existence, the M&M has never missed a single St. Patrick's Day. With the mining city painting itself green once again, the return of the iconic neon sign should provide a much-needed sense of nostalgia to this year's festivities. Well, the lighting of the neon sign will take place right here on the Sunday before St. Patty's at about 4 p.m. First, there'll be a prayer from Father Patrick Beretta, followed by the lighting of the sign. And hey, Nonstop Local will be there, so come and say hi if you see us. And don't forget to wear green. DJ Bauer, Nonstop Local.
Keep it a love march. DJ Bauer and Butte, America. Okay, coming up after the break, send things back out to Boise, Idaho. Sean Rainey, Austin Parr standing by. We'll have that after this.
Live from the Corwin Motors Sports Studio. This is SWX Nonstop Local Sports.
Yeah, welcome to Boise, everyone. I'm Sean Rainey. He's Austin Parr. Semifinal Tuesday. We got Claus out here going, go Bears. I don't think a lot of the fans back home in Montana are rooting for you. Sorry. That's all right. Hey, our two women's teams, they advance. We're going to have Cat Grizz Brawl the Wild on the women's side, Austin. Let's start with Montana State, who was dominant today.
Yeah, 2 days after they started 19-0 against Northern Colorado, they kind of do the same thing against Idaho State. A 10-0 run, pretty much set the tone from there. The defense was amazing. Taylor Chirick, 8 steals, ties the Big Sky Conference record. Shout out Izzy Bunyan, 15 points, tying her career high. And Esmeralda Morales, what else can you say about the Big Sky MVP? Montana State, 1 win away from coming here to achieving that goal that they want to do, which, of course, is win a national championship or a Big Sky Conference championship.
Our team is playing team basketball right now. Loved our defense, loved how we came out with the intensity, set the tone, and loved that they really shared the ball today, and I really think it showed offensively with our assists and a couple kids sitting here.
Any game, it's anybody. Like today was Izzy, yesterday was KJ and Taylor. I think for us, it's like we're so close. It's a family, and we want to get it done for each other. It's like it's not just because of one person or it's because of the seniors. Like we want to get it done for each other, for the coaching staff, for the community of Bozeman, for Montana State, and to just do that tomorrow, have the opportunity tomorrow, it's amazing. It's a blessing.
As for the Lady Grizz, it was a nice upset yesterday against Idaho, but facing Northern Arizona, one of the best mid-major teams in the region, would be a whole different battle. And, man, Matt Koenig was awesome in this game. It was kind of back and forth in the first quarter. And then Northern Arizona, they got up by 11, and it was a 9-point lead at halftime. And then it was really the start of the fourth quarter. Koenig hit 2 massive threes. The Lady Grizz come back and get the upset win, 71-67, 29 points from Matt Koenig, and it was just an awesome performance, setting up a Brawl of the Wild matchup in the championship game. All right, so tomorrow at 3 p.m. on ESPNU, the first matchup of these schools in the championship game since 1996. It's been a while. And we said this last year from the men's side. I think it was since 1986, and then we got Brawl of the Wild. Now we're going to have Brawl of the Wild back-to-back years, this time on the women's side. We got 30 seconds, Austin. What are we expecting tonight?
Montana State, can they continue the hot streak down here in Boise? 10 consecutive wins. Of course, that's a record, a Big Sky Conference record. They're taking on the #1 seed in Northern Colorado. You do expect them to play well, but can that small guard lineup continue to produce offense?
And then Montana's going to be taking on Idaho's going to have a large contingent. It is going to be a rowdy night. That game at 9:30 on ESPN2. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to stay tuned for all the coverage. Have a good night, everyone.